Okay, folks. So recently I've been thinking about ideas involved in Judaism and Christianity, and I'm pretty much living amidst earnest Jews and Catholics and Protestants, and maybe a couple of Mormons. So I'm going to do what I can to try to come up with some ideas that might help people from these demographics from time to time, okay? Today I'll specifically focus on an idea for Christians who don't necessarily have deep contemplative, reflective, or meditative practices. Okay, so to articulate one of my foundational premises for this video, I believe the virtues and strengths of highly sensitive persons, empaths, recluses, moral saints, heroes, etc., exist on a spectrum. And I believe that you can intensify your relationship to prosocial or helpful virtues through a deep and focused contemplative practice. In my life, that's certainly been evident, and I think it's been evident in the lives of many people, whether they start out as just slightly difficult when they're kids, or they, actually end up as ex-convicts with violent criminal records behind them, despite the fact that they fortunately end up as maybe small-scale philanthropists within their respective neighborhoods. And to be clear, you could just be kind of eclectic or somebody with an experimental spiritual outlook who wants to attempt this sort of imaginative exercise. So you don't have to be a Christian to do this. But I would say that if you have courage, if you have balls, and you're not scared to sink your mind in sort of a dark place in order to extract gold from a desolate and difficult emotional context, you can set aside 20 minutes and try to focus deeply on the thoughts and feelings that Jesus must have had before being nailed to the cross. And, as you do that, or afterward, you want to focus on his sustained selflessness in the midst of protracted torture. So this is not really looking at crucifixion as merely something that leads to, say, your salvation or humanity's salvation from its sins. It's actually focusing on what kinds of intentions, what kinds of character strengths, what kinds of virtues do you need to remain consciously, consistently willing to endure a crucifixion. Okay, focus as hard as you possibly can on that. And, I guess ask yourself, without answering right away, can I have a slice of that kind of Christ-like virtue for my own self in the midst of whatever, humdrum life I have? Okay. So I think if you do this often enough, you will not be capable of being petty or obsessed with gossip in your daily life. And when it comes time to, get like a coffee or a snack for a coworker or something, you will find it enormously easy on the grounds that, I don't know, you have spent time steeping like a tea bag does in hot water with this idea of, being able to endure immense pain for the sake of one's fellow man. So what is a few dollars out of, my debit card in the face of the fact that there are people out there who become, firefighters and volunteer surgeons and who end up in occupations in which they're consistently selfless, So if they can be persistently selfless in costly ways, why can't I be at least a little bit generous to somebody who helps me get my paycheck more easily? It's something to think about. All right, thank you for watching and have a good day. And whether or not you believe in God, God bless you.